You wake up, you check the phone, you drink the coffee, you go to the job or the desk or the site, you perform the function, you come home, you scroll, you eat, you watch the screen, you sleep, and then you do it again. Somewhere in the back of your throat there is a scream that you have been swallowing for 10, maybe 20 years. You don't let it out because you are civilized, you are productive, you are a functioning member of society, but that scream is the only real thing left in you. You have followed the script. You did what they told you to do. You chased the grades, the career, the partner, the house, the stability. You ticked every box on the sheet that was handed to you when you were a child. And yet, sitting here right now, you feel a hollowness so vast, it threatens to swallow you whole. You feel cheated. You feel like you bought a ticket to a show that ended 3 hours ago, but you're still sitting in the dark, waiting for an encore that isn't coming. This isn't depression. This isn't burnout. Those are clinical terms the system invented to medicate you back into productivity. This is something far more dangerous. This is clarity. The reason you feel miserable isn't because you failed. The reason you feel miserable is because you succeeded. You succeeded in becoming exactly what the system needed you to be. A battery, a predictable, docile, consuming unit of energy. And the nausea you feel? That is your soul rejecting the transplant. You are not sick. You are waking up. If this resonates, consider subscribing. Let's look at the machinery. The world you live in, this modern construct of hyper-capitalism and digital dopamine, is not designed for your happiness. It is designed for your extraction. It is an architecture of anesthesia. Think about it. When are you most profitable to the system? When you are anxious, when you are insecure, when you are lonely, when you feel incomplete. A happy, content, self-possessed human being is a disaster for the economy. If you were truly content, you wouldn't need the new car to signal status. You wouldn't need the endless stream of entertainment to silence your thoughts. You wouldn't need the expensive skincare to fight the aging that is only terrifying because you haven't actually lived yet. The system needs you to feel a constant, low-grade hum of dissatisfaction. It needs you to believe that the solution to this dissatisfaction is just one purchase, one promotion, or one swipe away. It keeps you on the treadmill by dangling a carrot that rots the moment you touch it. This is what the philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer meant when he described life as a pendulum swinging violently between suffering and boredom. The system has weaponized this pendulum. When you suffer, they sell you relief. When you are bored, they sell you distraction. You are never allowed to simply be. You are never allowed to sit in the void. Because if you sat in the void, if you actually stopped the noise, you would realize the terrifying truth. You are wasting your life. You are trading your limited, non-refundable time for things that do not matter, to impress people who do not care, to sustain a lifestyle that makes you miserable. The twist here is that the pain you are feeling, that deep existential ache, is not your enemy. The system tells you to numb it, drink it away, scroll it away, medicate it away. But that pain is the most valuable signal you have. It is the fire alarm ringing in a burning building. The system wants you to put on noise-canceling headphones and ignore the alarm while you burn to death. I am asking you to listen to the alarm. Friedrich Nietzsche spoke of the last man, the archetype of a human who has invented happiness, who blinks and seeks only comfort, warmth, and safety. The last man takes no risks. He has no great passions. He creates nothing. He merely exists, comfortable and sedated, until he dies. Look around you. Look at the culture. We have become a civilization of last men. We prioritize safety over meaning. We prioritize comfort over truth. But there is a part of you that despises the last man. That is why you're watching this. That is why you can't sleep at night. Because deep down, you know that comfort is not enough. You know that a cage with gold bars and Wi-Fi is still a cage. The metaphor is simple, but it is visceral. Imagine a livestock farm. The animals are fed. They are kept warm. They are given antibiotics to keep them from getting sick. They are comfortable, but they are not free. They are resources. Their lives are not their own. Their lives belong to the farmer. You are the livestock. Your attention is the milk. Your labor is the meat. Your anxiety is the byproduct that keeps the pharmaceutical and therapeutic industries churning. The system grazes on your potential. It eats your dreams and excretes mediocrity. And the fence? The fence isn't made of barbed wire. The fence is made of pleasure. It is made of Netflix and chill. It is made of porn. It is made of processed sugar and infinite scrolling feeds. The fence is so comfortable that you never try to jump over it. You don't even realize you are in a pen. If this resonates, consider subscribing. You must understand the trap of false solutions. The system is clever. It knows you are unhappy. So it sells you rebellion. It sells you wellness. It sells you mindfulness. But corporate mindfulness isn't about awakening. It's about becoming a more efficient worker. They want you to meditate so you can stare at the spreadsheet for another 4 hours without jumping out the window. They sell you hedonism as freedom. YOLO, treat yourself. They tell you that freedom is the ability to indulge every impulse, to chase every dopamine spike. But Epicuro, the philosopher often misquoted as a hedonist, knew better. He taught that slavery to appetite is the worst kind of prison. If you cannot say no to your impulses, you are not free. You are a slave to your own biology, and the system holds the leash. True freedom is not doing whatever you want. True freedom is the ability to choose what you want to want. It is the ability to override the programming. This brings us to the hard pivot, the new paradigm. To escape the matrix, to escape the misery the system needs you to feel, you must do the one thing the system fears most. You must embrace the suffering. Martin Heidegger talked about Das Man, the they, the anonymous conformist force of society that dictates how we should live. The they tells you to fear death. The they tells you to seek security. To break free from Das Man, Heidegger argued, you must confront your own finitude. You must live with the constant awareness of your own death, being towards death. When you truly realize in your gut that you are going to die, that this screen will go black and your story will end and everything you accumulated will turn to dust, the bullshit falls away. The opinion of your boss stops mattering. The likes on your post stop mattering. The fear of embarrassment stops mattering. What matters is, did I live? Was I real? Let me tell you a story. It's a composite of thousands of stories, but it is true. There was a man, let's call him John. John did everything right. He worked 80-hour weeks. He made partner at the firm. He bought the big house in the suburbs. He sent his kids to the best schools. He vacationed in the right places. He drove the German car. At age 55, John had a stroke. He didn't die, but he was incapacitated for months. He lay in a hospital bed staring at the ceiling. And for the first time in 40 years, the noise stopped. The email stopped. The meeting stopped. The chase stopped. And John felt a horror unlike anything he had ever known. He realized that he didn't know his children. He realized his wife was a stranger he shared a mortgage with. He realized that he didn't actually like his work. He just liked the status it gave him. He realized that he had spent his entire life building a monument to a man who didn't exist. He had sacrificed his one precious life on the altar of the system, waiting for a reward that was just a hallucination. He recovered physically, but he never went back to the firm. He sold the house. He moved to a smaller place. He started painting, badly but honestly. He started walking in the woods. He started listening to his wife. People whispered that he had a breakdown. They said he lost his mind. No, John didn't lose his mind. He found it. He lost the illusion. If this resonates, consider subscribing. You do not want to be John at 55. You do not want to wait for the stroke or the cancer diagnosis or the divorce to realize that the map you were given leads off a cliff. We must look at the top 5 regrets of the dying, recorded by palliative care nurse Bronnie Ware. The number 1 regret was not, I wish I had worked harder, or I wish I had bought more stuff. The number 1 regret was, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. Read that again. The life others expected of me. That is the system. That is the trap. So how do you get out? You cannot physically leave society. You still need to eat. You still need shelter. The revolution is not external. It is internal. The process is a form of psychological decombustion. You must let the false self die. Step 1. Habitation of the void. You must stop running from the silence. Every day you must spend time doing absolutely nothing. No phone, no music, no books, no meditation techniques, just sitting, staring at a wall. It will be excruciating. Your brain will scream for dopamine. You will feel anxiety, boredom, maybe even panic. Good. Stay there. Watch the panic. That panic is the withdrawal symptom of your addiction to the system. In that silence, you will hear the whisper of who you actually are. You will remember what you loved before they told you what you should love. Step 2. The great refusal. You must start saying no. No to the overtime that doesn't serve you. No to the social obligations you despise. No to the purchases you don't need. Every time you say no to the demands of the system, you reclaim a fragment of your soul. You are buying back your freedom, one no at a time. This requires being okay with being disliked. It requires being okay with being called weird or unambitious. Remember, being considered well-adjusted in a profoundly sick society is no measure of health. Step 3. Memento mori. Keep death on your shoulder, not in a morbid way, but as a counselor. When you are deciding whether to scroll on your phone or play with your child, ask death. Death will tell you the truth. When you are deciding whether to speak your mind or stay silent to keep the peace, ask death. Death will tell you that silence is a poison. This is not a path of happiness. Happiness is a fleeting byproduct. This is a path of meaning. Kierkegaard said, "The most common form of despair is not being who you are. The system needs you in despair, so you will buy its cures. The system needs you to feel small, so you will buy its stature. The system needs you to feel empty, so you will buy its fullness." To be an authentic individual is an act of rebellion. To be content with what you have is an act of economic treason. To love yourself without needing to improve or optimize or upgrade is a revolution. You have been asleep at the wheel of a car that is driving off a cliff. The air conditioning is on, the radio is playing your favorite song, and the seats are heated. It feels nice, but you are falling. I am asking you to turn off the radio. I am asking you to roll down the windows and feel the cold air. I am asking you to grab the wheel. It will be terrifying. You will feel the weight of responsibility for your own existence crash down on you. You will realize that no one is coming to save you. The politicians won't save you. The corporations won't save you. The gurus won't save you. You are alone. And that is the best news you have ever heard. Because if you are alone, if you are responsible, then you are free. You are free to walk away from the game. You are free to define success on your own terms. You are free to live a life that will leave you with no regrets when the final curtain falls. The system will try to pull you back. It will dangle fear. It will dangle shiny objects. It will use your friends and family to shame you back into the fold. Stand your ground. The misery you feel is the birth pain of a new self. Do not anesthetize it. Do not run from it. Let it burn away everything that is not you until only the truth remains. The system needs you miserable. It needs you compliant. It needs you asleep. Disappoint the system. Disappointing the system is not about burning down buildings. It is about burning down the illusions inside your own mind. It is about realizing that the cage you are in is unlocked, and you have been sitting inside it simply because you were told the outside world is dangerous. But before you can walk out, you have to understand the mechanism of the lock. The lock is not physical. The lock is psychological. The lock is made of mimetic desire. René Girard, the French historian and philosopher, cracked the code of your unhappiness decades ago. He argued that human beings do not know what to desire. We are not born knowing which car is cool, which job is prestigious, or which lifestyle is enviable. We have to be shown. We look at what others desire, and we copy them. We want things not for their intrinsic value, but because other people want them. Look at your life. Look at the things you are stressed about not having, the promotion, the applause, the specific body type, the validation. Do you actually want those things, or do you want them because the models in the ads want them? Because your parents wanted them? Because your rivals want them? The system is built on this weakness. It engineers models of desire, influencers, celebrities, billionaires, and broadcasts them onto your screens 24/7. It creates a feedback loop of envy. You are running a race to catch up to a mirage. You are competing for prizes that, once you hold them in your hands, turn to ash. This is why the billionaire is just as miserable as the middle manager. He is playing the same game, just with higher stakes. He is still a slave to the desire of the other. He is still looking over his shoulder. To exit the matrix, you must commit the ultimate heresy. You must stop wanting what they want. You must perform an audit of your soul. You have to take every desire you have, hold it up to the cold light of death, and ask, is this mine, or was this planted here? Most of what you find will be weeds. Pull them out. If this resonates, consider subscribing. This process leaves a void. When you pull out the mimetic desires, the need to be famous, the need to be rich, the need to be envied, you are left with a terrifying empty space. The system tells you to fill it immediately. Bored? Watch this. Sad? Buy this. Lonely? Swipe here. But this is where you must hold the line. This is where the work of Carl Jung becomes your survival guide. Jung spoke of the shadow. The shadow consists of all the parts of yourself that you repressed to fit into society. The anger you weren't allowed to show, the creativity that wasn't practical, the sexuality that was deemed inappropriate, the wildness that was uncivilized. To be a good citizen, a good employee, a good family member, you sliced off these parts of yourself and locked them in the basement. You became a two-dimensional cardboard cutout of a human being. You became nice. You became harmless. But a harmless human is not a virtuous human. A harmless human is weak. The system loves weak people because they are easy to govern. They are easy to scare. Jung argued that until you integrate your shadow, until you acknowledge the monster inside you, you cannot be whole. You cannot be free. Why does this matter? Because the energy you spend hiding your shadow is the energy you are draining from your life. You are exhausted all the time, not because you are working hard, but because you are constantly holding a beach ball underwater. You are constantly policing your own thoughts, your own words, your own impulses, to ensure you remain acceptable to the herd. The awakening is the moment you let the ball float up. It is the moment you stop apologizing for your intensity. It is the moment you stop tempering your truth to make others comfortable. When you integrate the shadow, you become dangerous to the system. You become unpredictable. You stop seeking permission. A man or woman who does not seek permission is a glitch in the matrix. They cannot be controlled by shame because they have accepted their own darkness. They cannot be controlled by fear because they have faced the worst in themselves. But here is the warning. The moment you start to become real, the people around you will get uncomfortable. They will say you have changed. They will say you are being selfish. They will try to pull you back into the script. This is not because they hate you. It is because your freedom highlights their slavery. Your authenticity shines a light on their falseness. When you stop playing the game, you ruin the immersion for everyone else who is still pretending the game is real. You must be willing to walk alone. Jean-Paul Sartre called this the nausea. It is the dizzying sensation of absolute freedom. Sartre used the example of a waiter in a cafe. The waiter moves a little too quickly, his gestures a little too precise. He is playing the role of the waiter. He is an object. He has abdicated his freedom to become a function. We all do this. We play the role of the father, the boss, the cool guy, the victim. We hide inside these roles because they have rules, they have scripts. If I am just playing a role, I don't have to think, I don't have to choose. But if you strip away the role, you are left with the naked, terrifying reality that you are responsible for everything. You are responsible for your happiness. You are responsible for your misery. You are responsible for the meaning of your life. There is no God, no destiny, no system that can take that weight off your shoulders. This is why people love the system. The system offers a trade. Give me your freedom, and I will take away your responsibility. Just follow the rules, and you'll be safe. Just go to college and you'll be successful. Just invest in this fund and you'll be secure. It is a lie, but it is a comforting lie. It is the bad faith that Sartre warned us about. We lie to ourselves that we have no choice. I have to stay in this job. I have to go to this dinner. I have to act this way. No, you don't. You choose to. You choose to because the alternative, the consequences of saying no, terrifies you. You are choosing comfort over freedom. You are choosing the cage because you are afraid of the forest. Admit that you are choosing. Even if you stay in the job, admit that you are choosing it. Reclaim your agency. The moment you say, I am doing this because I choose to, not because I have to, the chains loosen. You move from being a victim of circumstance to an architect of your reality. If this resonates, consider subscribing. Now, let's talk about the anesthesia of someday. The system keeps you docile by selling you the future. It tells you that your life hasn't started yet. It tells you that life will truly begin when you get the raise, when you retire, when the kids move out, when you lose 10 pounds, when you find your soulmate. You are constantly living in a hypothetical future that never arrives. You are treating the present moment, the only moment that actually exists, as a waiting room. You are holding your breath, waiting for permission to exhale. This is the greatest theft in history. The system steals your now by selling you a later. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, wrote about the shortness of life. He said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. We waste it preparing to live. We waste it worrying about things that might not happen. We waste it regretting things that have already happened. While you are worrying about the future, your coffee is getting cold, the sun is setting, your child is growing up, your cells are aging. The actual texture of your life is slipping through your fingers while you stare at a screen, planning for a day that is not guaranteed. You must declare a state of emergency on your own existence. You must realize that someday is a toxic construct. There is no someday. There is only today, repeated. If you are miserable today and you do nothing to change it, you will be miserable tomorrow. The trajectory does not change by magic. It changes by force. This brings us to the concept of the absurd hero, derived from Albert Camus. Camus looked at the human condition, our desperate search for meaning in a silent, indifferent universe, and he called it the absurd. We scream, "Why?" into the void, and the void says nothing. The system steps in and pretends to be the voice of the universe. It says, "I have the meaning." The meaning is consumption. The meaning is nationalism. The meaning is ideology. Camus rejected these false comforts. He used the myth of Sisyphus, the man condemned by the gods to push a boulder up a hill for eternity, only to watch it roll back down every time he reaches the top. That is your life. You wash the dishes, they get dirty. You make the money, you spend it. You clear the inbox, it fills up. It is a cycle of futile labor. But Camus concludes with a shocking sentence. One must imagine Sisyphus happy. Why? Because Sisyphus owns the rock. He accepts the absurdity of his task, and in that acceptance, he transcends it. He pushes the rock not because he hopes for a future where the rock stays at the top, but because the act of pushing is his rebellion. He finds joy in the struggle itself. He refuses to be crushed by the futility. You must become the absurd hero. You must look at the commute, the laundry, the emails, the inevitable decay of your body, and you must say yes to it. Not a passive yes, but a defiant yes. You stop waiting for the rock to stay at the top. You stop waiting for the happily ever after. You find the texture of life in the pushing. You find the beauty in the sweat. You find the meaning in the defiance. When you stop needing the world to be perfect for you to be happy, you become invincible. When you stop needing the system to validate you, you become invisible to its traps. You start to live with what the Japanese call mono no aware, the pathos of things. The gentle sadness of knowing that everything is impermanent. The cherry blossom is beautiful because it falls. Your life is beautiful because it ends. The system sells you plastic flowers because they last forever. But plastic flowers have no scent. They have no soul. You have been surrounding yourself with plastic experiences, plastic relationships, plastic goals. Throw them out. Get a real flower. Watch it die. And in that process, feel something real for the first time in years. If this resonates, consider subscribing. This path requires a new operating system. You cannot run this new consciousness on the old hardware of your conditioned mind. You need practical protocols to break the hypnosis. Protocol 1, digital fasting. You cannot hear your own soul if you are plugged into the hive mind. The algorithm is designed to override your internal monologue. You must disconnect, not just for an hour, but for days. Go into the woods, leave the phone, feel the withdrawal. Feel the phantom vibrations in your pocket. That is the umbilical cord of the matrix trying to pull you back. When the noise stops, your own thoughts will terrify you. They will be chaotic, dark, nonsensical. Let them be. Eventually the mud will settle and the water will become clear. Protocol 2, the deathbed visualization. Every morning before you get out of bed, imagine you are 90 years old. You are on your deathbed. You have 5 minutes left. You are taking your last jagged breaths. Feel the regret of all the things you didn't do. Feel the panic of time running out. Now open your eyes. You are back. You have been given a second chance. You have been given today. How differently will you treat this day now? Will you stress about the traffic? Will you care about the rude comment on social media? Or will you taste your coffee? Will you look your partner in the eye? Will you do the work that matters? This is not a depressing exercise. It is a life-giving exercise. It clears the lens of perception. Protocol 3, friction creation. The system wants your life to be frictionless. One-click buy, autoplay, tap to pay. Frictionless consumption leads to mindless existence. Introduce friction. Make it hard to access your vices. Make it hard to distract yourself. Cook your own food. Build something with your hands. Walk instead of driving. Friction forces presence. When you are chopping wood, you have to be there, or you will lose a toe. When you are scrolling, you are nowhere. Reclaim the friction. Reclaim the effort. Protocol 4, truth-telling. Stop lying. Stop the white lies. Stop the polite nods when you disagree. Stop saying, "I'm fine," when you are dying inside. Lying disintegrates your psyche. Every time you lie to fit in, you tell your subconscious that the real you is unacceptable. You weaken your own reality. Start speaking the truth even when your voice shakes, especially when your voice shakes. Jordan Peterson, drawing on Solzhenitsyn, warns that deceit is the precursor to totalitarianism. The personal lie feeds the systemic lie. If you want to break the system, stop feeding it your lies. Live in truth. As you implement these protocols, you will notice a shift. The anxiety will not disappear, but it will change. It will transform from the anxiety of a trapped animal to the anxiety of an explorer standing on the edge of a new continent. You will feel a sense of vertigo. This is the vertigo of sovereignty. You are waking up from a long coma-like sleep. Your muscles are atrophied. The light hurts your eyes, but you are awake. Do not go back to sleep. The people around you are sleepwalking. They are dreaming a dream of safety and status. Do not shake them violently. Do not scream at them. They will only attack you. Instead, be the example. Be the person who is awake. Be the person who is not afraid of silence. Be the person who does not need the constant drip of dopamine. They will notice. They will see a calmness in your eyes that they cannot buy in a store. They will see a stability in your presence that the algorithm cannot replicate. And they will ask you, "What did you do? Why are you different?" And then, only then, can you show them the door. The journey from the last man to the overman, Übermensch, is not a journey of adding things. It is a journey of subtraction. You subtract the fear. You subtract the envy. You subtract the conditioning. You subtract the need for approval. What remains is the diamond, the indestructible core of who you are. You have spent your whole life building a fortress to protect yourself, but the fortress has become a prison. The walls are high and you are safe, but you cannot see the sky. I am handing you a sledgehammer. Tear it down. Let the cold wind blow in. Let the rain soak you. Let the chaos of the real world touch your skin. It is better to freeze in the truth than to be warm in a lie. This is the only game worth playing. Everything else is just distraction. Everything else is just waiting for death. Play the game of life, not the game of society. The system needs you to be a duplicate. The universe needs you to be an original. The choice is yours. It has always been yours. You just forgot you had it. Wake up.